Welcome to Ecologic for the month of July. We are very fortunate to have our guest, Elbert Guillory, who ran for the House seat, the newly approved House seat, and lost to Cleo Fields with 0.8% separating him from being in a runoff. So I'll let Elbert here share with you what his thoughts were on that campaign.
First, let me tell you, it's great to be here with you.
Oh, great.
The campaign was a lot of fun. This was a challenge. It's a 300-mile long district
Yeah,
from
it goes,
Baton Rouge to
yeah.
Shreveport.
yeah, right.
And
Even gets into Lafayette Parish.
absolutely.
Yeah,
St. Landry Parish. About 13 parishes it covers.
yeah,
So we won 10 of those 13 parishes.
wow.
And, didn't do as well in Shreveport, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge,
Really,
but came very close, just a hair
wow.
from a runoff.
And then you think you'd have prevailed in the runoff.
We think so. We
Yeah.
think so. Our projections were, unfortunately, we started very late.
Yeah,
My opponent had been running for a year and a half.
yeah,
We ran 3 months.
yeah, right. So congratulations on winning that vote of confidence. You're not in Washington, but I bet Cleo Fields is not feeling good about your campaign.
Well, I hope not. I hope he doesn't get too comfortable because I'm looking forward to round 2.
And I think the Supreme Court's involved in that, huh?
Yes, it is. The Supreme Court's trying to decide whether to throw out this district because of gerrymandering, or whether we'll keep it as it is. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Wow. So what are your thoughts of some of the main issues that you would want to correct? You mentioned to me earlier that education would be at the top. And of course, Louisiana leads our way to the bottom.
Absolutely.
St. Landry Parish is probably the lowest parish in the state.
70 years ago, when I was a schoolboy, I went to a segregated, underfunded school out in the country.
Yeah,
But we were educated.
yeah.
We were
yeah,
taught to read and to write. We sent
yeah,
people to Harvard, and this was before the days of affirmative action. They earned their way into
Yeah.
Harvard, but no longer. Right now, most of our children, about 80%, cannot read at grade level when they graduate.
Wow.
They have to go to remedial classes if they go to college.
That's appalling.
It is. So we have to address that issue. Of course, we have to address the issue of crime.
Yeah. Of
And
course, poor education and crime, high prison rates, that all goes together.
all hand in hand.
Yeah, the economic partners.
And we, of course, looking to do something about federal spending. We're spending our children's futures
Yeah, yeah,
into the ground. We're
yeah,
going to bankrupt this nation if we don't do something different.
yeah.
So we're going to try to do something about this federal spending business.
What do you think of Trump?
I like a lot of the things that he's done. I don't agree with everything. Of course, I didn't agree with my mom either.
Yeah,
But we always disagreed agreeably. I think that he's done some really good things, and I think he's done some kind of off-the-wall things. But
yeah, yeah,
overall, I think that his decisions have been good for America's economy.
yeah, yeah,
I'd like to see him keep us out of wars.
yeah, right.
I served in the United States Navy during '64 to '68 during the hot years of Vietnam,
Yeah,
and
we we were on active duty at the same time.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I served from 61 to 65, so we had 2 years that overlapped.
That was a difficult time for America,
It was.
and we
it
should
was.
not have to go through that kind of thing again. 60,000 American lives lost, and
I was in a war planning office, and Kennedy had us, let's see, in 63, he was killed in 63. We had 50,000 troops in Vietnam and 25,000 in August. Beginning of August, we got orders to vacate 25,000 troops and then 25,000 troops by December, and then 14,000 by April. And we were well into that. We were responsible for moving all the troops, the Army units that were east of the Mississippi. So, I mean, that was about 70% of the Fort Polk and a couple of, I think, forts in Texas and Oklahoma were left out of what we were doing, but Fort Benning and Fort Bragg and all of that was, Fort Gordon and all of that, that was in, and we were cutting orders and setting the units out, you know.
yes,
Johnson, I had to be convinced that Johnson was involved in Kennedy's assassination.
I believe that to this very day. I believe it.
Because within 24 hours after he was dead, you know, we had orders to shut that down. So I was in a position to see where that went. The next, Johnson didn't understand the history there. Vietnam never got along with China.
Truly.
No, I mean,
Never did.
They never did, you know.
I thought that Richard Nixon did the right thing by pulling the plug as quickly as he could.
Yes, he did. He was a guy that could make decisions. So was Kennedy.
I was fortunate enough to work for with the Nixon administration for a couple of years.
Really?
Oh yes.
Because with the Navy scholarship, you went to law school.
That is correct.
You went to Harvard?
I was accepted at Harvard, went to Rutgers.
Okay.
I was accepted at Harvard, Yale, Columbia, about 5 of those top law schools, but chose Rutgers, and I'm a former Rutgers law professor.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Fun.
Just General Russell Honoré?
I do indeed.
Yes. He's another Creole that, you know, has made his mark. To be a 3-star general, you in the military, you know.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I mean, you can only go to 4-star, and so when Russell Honoré talks, the media is there to listen.
He's done quite well for the Louisiana boy.
Yeah, and he was, I think he was in ROTC at Southern?
Probably he was.
Yeah.
I was expelled from Southern, you know.
Yeah, I know. You were editor of their newspaper?
Yes, I was.
Wow.
And I wrote civil rights things that were not very popular in the early 1960s. So
They fired your ass.
yes, they did. Escorted me off campus at gunpoint.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So you've been in this battle a long time. Have you seen it change?
Major change.
Yeah.
Major changes, some very positive and some not too positive. Affirmative action. I was part of the team that produced affirmative action and presented it to the U.S. Supreme Court in the Gues versus Duke Power decision in 1972. It was a great idea, and it was on its way to opening doors for a generation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it got sidetracked and became a national numbers game that far outlived its usefulness. Turned into DEI.
Really?
Yes, sir. Sadly.
So you were elected to the Louisiana Senate?
I was.
Did you serve one term?
I served a couple of terms in the Senate and a term in the House of Representatives.
Really? So you served, what, 8?
Right about a decade or so.
Yeah, right. Wow. Thank you for your service to my country.
It has been a real joy. When I was
You're an example of what, regardless of your color, the Army and the Navy, those are the opportunities for going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love most about America is that it is the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
All you have to do is roll up your sleeves
Yeah, and go to
and
work.
go to work.
Yeah.
If you're serious about America, America will be serious about you.
Yeah, sure. Wow. So at Rutgers, you went through law school there,
I did.
and then you had to take the Louisiana bar, huh?
Yes, I took the New Jersey bar right after law school.
Yeah.
Worked for the state of Pennsylvania, then the state of Maryland, then Illinois, then Seattle, Washington. All of this in civil rights law. I ran civil rights agencies. And for Richard Nixon, I taught civil rights agencies how to enforce modern civil rights laws.
Wow.
So that's what he had me doing across the country.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
It was an exciting time.
So what were some of the issues you were dealing with when you were in the House, Louisiana House and so forth?
During my first year, I wrote and passed the Louisiana reentry law, which helps reduce recidivism.
From prison.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when someone's in prison, during the last couple of years, they could get an education, they could get a trade, and then we would take them from the prison to work. We'd find a job for them.
Yeah.
Take them to work so that when they would get out, they'd have a pocket full of money, a year or two of experience on the job,
Yeah.
and the certifications. No need to return to prison.
Yeah.
So we've reduced that return to prison, that recidivism, drastically because of that law. They put me in the Louisiana Hall of Fame, Justice Hall of Fame for that
Wow. For that bill.
bill.
Wow. So when you were in the Senate, you were representing St. Landry Parish?
St. Landry, Lafayette, and St. Martin.
Cool. Wow.
Pieces of them.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Very proud of St. Martin and Lafayette, my warm relationships with those folk.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Mike Francis supported you.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Still a good friend.
He's a good friend of mine. I think Mike is with the Public Service Commission, and C. Scametta is running for Cassidy's seat.
Yes, he is. That's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah,
This-
Blake Miguez is running.
Yes. Dr. Fleming.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be an interesting race, especially if Letlow gets involved.
Yes, it is. Oh, this is Louisiana politics, there's nothing like it.
Right, yeah. Because I think Cassidy's been on the wrong side of Trump,
He has.
and that's gonna bury him.
Sadly, he's on the wrong side of many of Louisianans.
Yes,
So-
yeah, yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
And it's hard to beat an incumbent because they have so much, in their war chest.
He does have a lot of money. Although Dr. Fleming has been raising a lot of money
Yeah,
lately.
Blake Meade has to.
And Blake is so popular, particularly in the southern part of Louisiana.
Yeah, yeah. He's a hell of a pistol shot.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's an Eagle Scout too.
And an all-around good guy, really.
yeah,
Smart
yeah.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who Louisiana will choose to represent us.
Yeah, it is gonna be interesting. I think Cassidy's he's from Monroe.
I think he's from North Louisiana, yes.
Yeah. But North Louisiana has a fourth of the votes.
That's correct.
Yeah. 3/4 of them are below 190. Lafayette, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles.
And we'll have 3 or 4 South Louisiana fellows running in that,
Yeah.
and possibly Ledlow also, so. Of course, she's
And
from,
she's a real remarkable person.
she really is.
Yeah. She wants to be chancellor of LSU. I think that there's an article in the newspaper about her. She's a doctorate person. I don't know what field she has a doctorate in. You know?
I don't.
But she's got 3 paths. She can go, she can run for the Senate, she can stay where she is, because she'll get reelected over and over again. And then she can go to be the chancellor of LSU.
That's an interesting job.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Have you worked with LSU?
I have not. I spent so much of my time out of Louisiana, especially those formative years when I would have
Yeah,
been related to some college or university. I would expect if I do go to work for a university, it would probably be Rutgers.
yeah. In 81, that's how old you are?
That is correct. 81 years old.
Yeah. I think it's the real tribute that you, at 81, wants to be still active in politics and leading the people of Louisiana forward.
Well, 2 things.
I think you touched on, the root problem with Louisiana is you start with education and the lack of it, and, I think, what is it, 1/3 of our kids are in private schools across the state, so that means the bankers and the lawyers and all those kids are in those private schools.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the leaders of the state don't have a dog in the hunt.
And that's sad.
It is.
But we've let our public education system just sink and sink and sink so that no one uses it anymore. If they can afford to get out, they get away.
Yeah, that's right.
I like the new education school choice that we are implementing
Yeah,
across the country and particularly in Louisiana.
yeah, yeah,
Let the money follow the child
yeah,
so that the parents can make a decision of where they want their child to go.
yeah, right.
We have so much violence and disruption in the classrooms. Then the public school system is not doing anything about that.
No,
So,
the lack of discipline, I think, is a major problem,
absolutely agreed.
when you were in school, you had plenty of discipline.
Oh, yes,
A good teacher could whip a child.
and they did.
Yeah, yeah.
And we understood. There were,
And you were in a country school, weren't you?
oh, yes. Finally came to J.S. Clark High School, a wonderful J.S. Clark High School in Opelousas, around the midway. And that was a great experience.
Then you joined the Navy?
I did, but not until I left Southern.
Okay.
I was expelled in my junior year, and that's when I decided to join the Navy. My daddy fought in World War I.
Wow.
My brother, my older brother, served in World War II, and
And you were too young.
I was too young for that one, but Vietnam and I came just right together.
Yeah, the big buildup was when Kennedy was killed.
I was 4F.
Really?
I didn't have to go, but I tore up my draft card and volunteered to go.
Wow.
I believe in this country.
Yeah.
I believe that it's an obligation to serve and to protect it. And so, just as my daddy and my brother before me, I had to do my share.
Yeah, my uncles were all in World War One in the German Navy, the German cavalry.
Yes.
I had an aunt that was killed in Africa.
I had an interesting conversation with a young man who was one of the last surviving members of Hitler's SS Corps.
Really?
And I represented the last surviving member of his personal staff
Wow.
when she was in her 90s.
Wow. And what was the format? What legal proceeding were you dealing with?
All of the issues of estate planning and anything that arose that interfered with her life, she called her lawyer, and I was right there. She lived in Hawaii,
Really?
so she sent a ticket and I'd be right there.
Wow.
Still a very attractive woman in her 90s.
Wow. Really?
Yes, indeed.
Was she blonde?
She was indeed.
Yeah.
With the bluest eyes.
Really?
Yes.
Cool. So you've had some real prominent people in your legal practice.
It's been fun. I've been practicing 55 years. I'm one of the oldest practicing lawyers in the state. And I've enjoyed it very, very much. Looking forward to the next 2 or 3 chapters.
Wow.
My mother died when she was 104.
Cool.
My daddy died at 102. So I figure I must have at least another 35 years to.
20 years, yeah. Yeah, when you think about all that, you know, the best thing you can have in your medical files or longevity. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll see how it works out. Whenever my father calls me, I'll be ready to go. But until then, I'll be working until the last breath.
Well, you have so much to contribute, you know, your leadership, your military experience, and Rutgers being trained with your military benefits.
I had a full scholarship. I was recruited to play football at Rutgers also.
Oh, God.
I played in the military, and I was a 230-pound linebacker.
Oh.
But the law school dean said no
Yeah.
playing football.
Yeah, yeah, you would put, you think your best shot is your legal training, and football doesn't help you there at all.
Truly. Not much, but it was fun. Football was fun. I'll be honest with you, looking back, I've been a mountain climber, studied ballet, just, there's so many things to do in life,
Yeah,
travel, and I enjoy all of those things.
well, you're a real asset to the state, you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll put you right next to General Honoré.
Well, I'll try to live up to that very high mark.
Yeah, because he's helped me a lot, you know. He was on this program, I think, 3 or 4 months ago. And he was on the program because he brought me his electric wheelchair,
Ah,
which I've enjoyed having.
and I hope that you will not have to use it much longer.
That's right. I'm getting the therapy I need. Maybe I'll be walking again in a couple of months, you know.
I've had 2 knee replacement surgeries, and I'm about to have a replacement to my replacement.
Cool.
So we'll be able to get out there and run with those young fellas.
Yeah, right. Wow. I don't have any knee problems, you know, but I sure have a paralyzed right side. But anyway, one of those bumps in the road.
Truly.
Yeah,
Small bump.
small bump. Yeah, right. So what's your plans going forward?
Well, I'm getting ready for this next campaign,
Yeah,
and just finished a murder trial, so we're in the process of,
how you doing? How you did with that?
that was a difficult one. That was a real tough situation. We're going to have to do some appealing on that.
Were you representing the accused?
I was. I've always been on that side
Yeah, right.
of the law. I was going to medical school. That was my plan when I was a little boy.
Yeah,
But when I was 15, I went to the public library
yeah,
in Opelousas, and black folk couldn't go to the public library.
right, yeah.
So I was arrested for trespassing, and
Really?
that changed the trajectory of my life. I gave up medical school and started, because of the civil rights, I was in court frequently. So,
And you were thrown out of Southern
oh yes,
because of your views on, which right now would be considered conservative.
yes, that is so true.
Yeah, yeah,
I've always been just a common sense country boy.
yeah. And you're Republican.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
It's important for my community to have someone sitting at every table,
yeah,
the table of power, otherwise we get left behind.
yeah, right. It's so well put, the table of power, you know. The golden rule, if you have the goal, you make the rules. And Louisiana is, you know, the big property owners run the state.
Sadly, that is the truth.
White Lake is not a lake. You can see it from the moon, but it's owned by Whitney Bank. And really, you know, a subsidiary of Whitney Bank. They got one well in there producing, the revenue is 1.6 million a day. Know what the parish is getting out of it? The
How much?
state's getting out of it? 0.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, 340 wells in White Lake, and that's the biggest one, and the state's not involved. But the state runs the leasing program in the lake.
Well, we've got to get our fair share of that.
Well, Vermilion Parish would have been getting about, they get 10% of the state's royalties, which would have been around 400,000, 22% on state water bottoms. The parish that's in it, they get 10% of that 22%. So 2.2% of 1.6 million would have tripled, that one well would have tripled their income. They got a $6 million, it's like St. Landry Parish, they got a $6 million revenue, which they spent $7 million. And White Lake is almost, the wells in there are all privately owned. They don't have one permit in there because it's classed by the Corps as non-navigable wetlands. And all the drilling barges that were in there didn't have to dredge a spoon of dirt to get in there. It's just like Vermilion Bay, it's 8 to 10 feet deep. Was historically subject to title exchange. It's kind of clear in law that waters, land subject to title of a title exchange during the highest tide of the year, sufficient to float a toothpick, a hypothetical toothpick belongs to the state. White Lake was sold to Michelle for 12 and a half cents an acre.
That was a good deal.
Yeah, it sure was. Then they had a big survey area, the biggest survey area in the Louisiana Purchase was where White Lake, it should have had, the township boundaries should have been common, and they were 11,700 feet apart, 2 miles apart. And there was a Louisiana Furs case, 1933, where Louisiana sued Louisiana Furs over this no man's land, you know. And Louisiana Furs owned both townships. So one township was fat and the other was lean. So the court said, you know, well, you own it all. And so that ruling helped the hell out of Whitney Bank, because they gained about 19,000 acres in that lake, of which they already own half of it, you know, so it's a 53,000 acre lake, but they own about 20,000 of it. But they picked up 19,000 acres. So you don't have to go far to see if you look at the Act 75 of the 1880 Louisiana Legislature, paragraph 11, one paragraph set up the sale of public lands, which included the marshlands and the swampland. And they set the price at 12 and a half cents an acre. And then the prairie land, which was great for rice and whatever you wanted to plant, that was 25 cents an acre. So if you came and invested $10,000 in that one opportunity, that set up the state land office. And so the wealthy people came and they invested in Louisiana. And they got this supposedly worthless swampland. And those days, I guess, there's plenty of mosquitoes, plenty of horseflies, alligators, snakes. All of them would bite you. So, but you don't have to go far to find the injustice, and you know, that money would the revenue from that one well, the 1974 Constitution gave Louisiana, the parishes, 10% of the minerals. That one well would have tripled the annual income for Vermilion Parish.
That would have made a major, major difference.
Well, of course, because that 340 other wells that came into that. The Amoco donation was about a case in Grand Lake where those lakes are eroding, and they're eroding about 60 feet a year. So, let me see, we got a phone call coming in here. Hello? Hello? Anyway, they'll call back.
It is so interesting to see the interplay between money and politics.
Yeah, right. We got, I don't know where you fit with the governor that just left office, but anyway, we got him going on this White Lake thing because it was the most lucrative. Declared it, try to get him to declare that the waters of Louisiana. And he found out who owned it, and he was gone, pecan. Bel Ed he was dishonest, I think.
Too much of it.
Yeah.
Too many politicians are dishonest.
Yeah.
I'm very proud. I can look you in the eye and tell you, please look at my filings, because as you know, we're an elected, we have to file all of our finances.
Yeah.
I have not taken one penny in all of my years in politics, not one penny. I've had many opportunities to become very wealthy. Not one time.
Really?
When I die, when I close my eyes, my mother and daddy will be standing at the gate before I get to see my Lord. And I've got to get past mom and dad.
And you're a member of the Knights of Peter Cleveland?
I am indeed.
And you're a member of the Knights of Columbus?
I am indeed. I'm also a Baptist preacher.
Yeah. You told me that, I think, when I gave you a contribution for your campaign, you told me that. So you do preach?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Every Sunday?
Not every Sunday, but about 30% of the Sundays.
Yeah.
I'm an associate pastor at Pleasant Green Baptist Church in Alexandria.
Okay.
I spent 70 years as a Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
And my mother was Baptist, my dad was Catholic.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up in both.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Mom always wanted me to be a Baptist preacher.
Yeah.
Well, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, she died. And she went up to heaven and she pestered the Lord to make sure that he touched me. And he did. Of course, I went to New York Theological Seminary 50 years ago.
Wow.
So I would, just in case something happened, I'd be prepared.
Yeah, yeah. You had a great education, and you used that education to benefit, the people of Louisiana, the people of the nation.
Absolutely. Service to this country and service to my God, there's no higher calling.
No, that's right. So, what are your thoughts going forward? You getting ready for a campaign?
Yes, indeed. We'll see how this campaign goes, and look forward to a victory and more service, more service.
What would you be the first thing you'd do if you went to Washington? What do you think about Higgins?
I like him. I like him. He's
Because he had his roots in St. Landry Parish.
yes, indeed. Fire and brimstone. That's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's a straight shooter.
Oh, yes, he is. Yeah, we have a wonderful relationship with his office.
And he too is an honest man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's an honest man. Like, what's Johnson's first name?
Mike,
Mike. Yeah. Because he's deep rooted in faith.
yes, he is. Mike has done a really extraordinary job under difficult circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having almost, well, a razor-thin majority
Yeah.
and having to do so much with that little
Yeah.
thin majority.
I think the Republicans gonna take over have a much bigger majority when the election comes.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's going to expand. I think Americans are tired of a lot of the humbug that we've had
Yeah.
in the past. The open borders has been a disaster for America.
Yeah, yeah. Been disaster in a lot of ways.
The
It's
cost, I mean,
Yeah, the cost. Yeah, they would give them rolls of cash.
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
To take illegals
Yeah.
and put them in five-star hotels
Yeah.
while we have veterans who are living homeless on the streets is unconscionable for this country to do. I can't understand that.
Do you know that if your household income is over 40,000 as a veteran, you're not entitled to any substances?
I did not know that.
Yeah. I was chairman of the American Legion here, the commander of the American Legion here for about 10 years. And I would say 90% of our guys, which were mostly World War II and Korean and Vietnam veterans, their income far exceeded that threshold.
But these are things benefits that we've earned.
Yes. And when you joined, did they want to see your income tax statement?
Yes.
I don't know. Sure didn't want to see mine.
Just take you right on in.
Yeah, yeah. I went through a flight physical at Biloxi, and my eyesight was extraordinarily good, And so there's a captain that interviewed me after. He says, you're going to have to go to flight school. Oh, no. I said, the reason I'm going into the Air Force is because I don't want to go to flight school. I'm well aware. I said, the officer training school is 3 months, flight school is 11 months, and then I have a cockpit commitment of 5 years. And I said, I'm not joining the military to go fly an airplane. I'm joining to get leadership experience, And he laughed. I said, when I get through with this flying a bus around, I said, I'll be 27, I'll be an old man. So,
How many years did you fly?
I didn't fly at all.
Didn't fly at all.
No, I was in a war planning office. They stuck me with a United Way campaign, which I changed. I got to the base, and the first assignment was deputy United Way campaign chairman, and a lieutenant colonel was running the show. And I said, what kind of liberties do I have this? That I'm in training right now for the next year's campaign. And they had a big billboard with a big thermometer out there. He says, you get it 1% more than last year, and you're gonna be in good shape. And it was the biggest waste of time. It was a 6 weeks campaign. And you'd go to a big hall, there'd be 1,000 people in the hall, and half of them were going to sleep. And you'd have a Red Cross there, you'd have a little Girl Scout, you might have a Boy Scout. And these were all being supported, by the United Way campaign. So I got the idea, we're gonna cut this thing down to 2 weeks. We were
That's
first
smart.
using computers, so I got the JAG officer, got the finance people, got the computer people. And I said, this is what I want. And I did this a week after the campaign, and we did 46%. And my goal was to get it to 99%, So we're just gonna make this a lot easier. So on the 1st of March, you got your check, and then you got another check, which directed the Treasury to pay 1% in next 3 months, 6 months, or evenly through a year. And then if you chose not to contribute, you had to meet with your commanding officer, supervisor, and had a letter placed in your file as to why you didn't give. Of course, most of those supervisors in the warehouse, they couldn't write a note in there if their life depended on it, And so, that 99.9%, we set a record for the DOD, and they're still using that method now.
That's a lot of incentive.
Yeah, right. So, I guess we had 50 volunteers in that office for 6 weeks. And they'd go out and make talks and all that kind of stuff, And so we made the changes.
99% is really good.
Oh, yeah, it set a record. The general called me in and said, damn, what happened to this campaign? He said, I'm getting calls from all over the country. I said, we just streamlined it.
Leadership.
Leadership, right, yeah. That was a good experience though in the military.
I'm glad that I went to the military.
Well, it's a life-changing thing.
It really is.
Yeah. Were you commissioned?
No, indeed.
Yeah.
I went in and it came out as an E5. If I had, all I had to do was to sign on the dotted line and go up for another 4 years, and I would have been an E6.
Wow.
But law school called.
Yeah. And you had to take entrance exams?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I had a kid working for me, he was 20. He'd been in the military 7 years. Sergeant Click. He was in the Army for 5 years, and then he switched to the Air Force, He had gone into the 8th grade. He was a few days in the 8th grade, and he passed by a recruiting officer. And they said, your mom signs, you can go. And he got his mom to sign.
And off he went.
Yeah. And he was in the NCO Academy, 970 people in it. every school he was in, he was at number one.
Sharp kid.
Oh yeah, he was a sharp kid. So anyway, I was president of the Rod and Gun Club, and one of the people that were on my board was chief of personnel, and he was enlisted, but he was head of personnel, and he took care of the GE, the high school equivalency, you know. He said, I'm going to send you Sergeant Click. He's 20 and he's been in the military 7 years. Every school he's been in, he's been number one. So, oh, Lieutenant, we can't do that. I mean, he's going to have to study for a couple of years and all that. I said, no, this kid is bright. So anyway, we gave him the test. He got a 99 on the test. Without, you know.
No preparation.
No. Then he was from Ohio, and I said, the next step is college, you know. He said, yeah. He said, can you get me lined up? I said, where do you want to go to school? And he said, well, the University of Ohio is in my hometown, so that's where I'd like to go. Now, he was married and had 4 kids. He got married at 16 while he was in Germany.
He was on a fast track.
Oh, yeah. So they took the entrance exams, and in that they had to show all his background in the military, which included I think the most important thing was the NCO Academy. And which he was number one in the class of 970. They gave him 60 semester hours. He was back in my office in 2.5 years with a degree in physics. And he was heading off to training school and then to flight school.
They tried to get me to go to the Naval Academy, but I didn't. I had no desire to do that. I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. Although my great-great-great-grandfather graduated from West Point.
Wow. And West Point had to be segregated during the war, huh?
Not for him.
Right.
He was a white fella.
Really?
We're a blended, what we call a gumbo family down in South Louisiana.
Yeah. And boy, they didn't have that in Georgia. I remember how, you know, the blacks were really black, you know, and they'd come to town on Wednesday afternoon. Boy, if you got to town on Wednesday afternoon, there were country towns, they were all closed, you know. Georgia had, you know, I could count, I lived in Perry, Georgia first, you know. And Perry, you could have counted the Catholics on your one hand. I believe they had about 10 Catholics in town. They'd have mass in somebody's home.
Not many. What was the best dish, your favorite dish from your childhood?
I'd have to say maybe rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew, yeah.
That's one of my favorites also.
Yeah, yeah. My dad was a big outdoorsman, and he was born in Germany. I was born in 1939. You born in 43?
44.
44. Yeah, we would go out on what we call the Shell Road, really Lake Martin Road. And he'd get 2 rabbits, you know. We're a big family, so,
Oh, yes. With a good stew, 2 rabbits can go a long way.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Was that over rice or
Oh, yeah,
potatoes?
oh, yeah, rice, yeah. See, we're getting close to our time, so I want to thank you for being here. I think you're a real leader that, you know, has put a lot into the state, into the,
I think it's gonna go to 6.
okay,
If not, I'm gonna just have to go off here.
so good luck in your next campaign. I
Thank
think,
you.
I think the